Good morning, all of you. I hope all of you are fit and fine. In this video, we will continue our chapter Computer Networks of class 12th. So today we will learn about the concept of network security. So let's begin with the introduction of network security. Network security is the process of arranging a defensive approach to secure your data and resources over the computer network infrastructure against any potential threat or unauthorized access. It uses software as well as hardware technologies to achieve the optimal solution for network defense. Let's understand the types of threats and prevention. Number one, viruses. Viruses are the small programs that are written intentionally to damage the data and files on a system. These programs are spread from one computer system to another, which interrupts the normal functioning of a computer. Viruses can attack any part of a computer software such as boot block, operating system, system areas files, and application programs, macros, etc. Viruses are most easily spread with email attachments. Viruses are broadly classified into three types. Number one, file infector viruses, viruses that attach themselves to a program file. Number two, boot sector viruses, viruses that install themselves in boot sector of hard drive. And number three, macro viruses, that is, they infect data files and corrupt the data. Let's see the characteristics of viruses. The speed of a computer system becomes slower than normal. Computer system frequently hangs up. Computer restarts automatically after every few minutes. Various applications of computer do not function properly. Dialog boxes, menus, and other error message windows are distorted. Let's see the damages caused by the viruses are: they corrupt file allocation table, which results in corrupting the entire file system. Replication of files occurs that decreases space in hard disk. They can destroy system programs and files. They cause destruction of specific executable files and alteration in data files, resulting in reinstallation of a system. They can format specific tracks on the disk or format the entire disk. Let's see some prevention from viruses. Use antivirus software to permanently remove viruses. Always scan pen drives and other secondary storage media in order to detect viruses and safeguard your system. Frequently update your computer system. The next type of threats are worms. A worm is a self-replicating program that runs independently and travels across network connections. Let's see some characteristics of worm. It replicates itself. It spread across networks through email, instant messaging, or junk mails. Worms run independently. Let's see types of worms. Number one, email worms. Worms spread through any email which contains any file attachment or link to any infected website. Number two, instant messaging worms. Worms spread through instant messaging across the network by sending mails to infected website. Number three, internet worms. The infected worm will use the contact list of the user's chat room profile or instant message program to send links to infected website. Let's see some damages caused by the worms. A worm may corrupt the files on the host computer. It may affect communication between the host, which will enable it to cause more damage. Bulk email chaining can be created with an intention to guess email passwords. A worm consumes too much system memory, causing web servers, network servers, and individual computers to stop responding. The next type of threat is Trojan horse. A Trojan horse is a kind of virus that looks safe but has hidden effects. It is a hidden code in a program, such as a game or a spreadsheet, that can damage the system when running these applications. It can destroy or alter information on a computer system in the background. There are several types of Trojan horse: remote access Trojan horse, data sending Trojan horse, destructive Trojan horse, proxy Trojan horse, FTP Trojan horse, denial of service attack Trojan horse. Trojan horses are generally spread through email attachments and exchange of disk and information between computers. The next type of threat is spams. Spam is an unwanted bulk mail which is sent by an unauthorized or unidentified person in order to eat the entire disk space. Generally, it is the form of pampering the user with various discount schemes or commercial advertising, often for dubious products, get rich quick schemes, etc. I hope all these threats are clear to all of you. So let's move on to our new topic, that is cookies. A cookie is also known as an HTTP cookie, web cookie, internet cookie, or browser cookie. Cookie is basically a piece of data that is stored by the website on the user's hard disk. Let's see the working of cookies. The user enters the name of the website on the browser. The browser contacts the DNS server to corresponding server along with cookies data. If no cookies data is supplied, then the website comes to know that the user is visiting the website for the first time. The server creates an ID of a person which is then stored by cookies on the hard disk. I hope it's clear to all of you. So let's move on to our new topic, that is firewall. A firewall is a software that protects the private network from unauthorized user access. The firewall filters the information coming from the internet to the network or a computer to protect the system. Firewall exists both as a software solution and as a hardware application. In the form of hardware firewall such as router, it protects the network, and in terms of software firewall, it helps in preventing the spread of virus from one computer to another. I hope it's clear to all of you. So let's move on to our new topic, that is India's IT Act. The Information Technology Act 2000, also known as ITA 2000 or the IT Act, is an act or the Indian Parliament number 21 of 2000 notified on October 17, 2000. IT Act 2000 has been defined as an act to provide legal recognition for transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange and other means of electronic communication, commonly referred to as electronic commerce, which involve the use of alternatives to paper-based methods of communication and storage of information to facilitate electronic filing of documents with the government agencies, and further to amend the India Penal Code, the Indian Evidence Act 1872, the Bankers Books Evidence Act 1891, and the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. I hope it's clear to all of you. So let's move on to our new topic, that is cyber law. The law that governs the cyberspace is known as cyber law. Cyber law defines all the legal and regulatory aspects of internet and the World Wide Web. Cyber law is an attempt to apply laws designed for the physical world to human activity on the internet. In India, the IT Act 2000 as amended by the IT Act 2008 is known as cyber law. A large number of cyber criminal activities such as hacking passwords or accessing files by an unauthorized person or getting private information, etc., have been prevented by implementing cyber laws. Let's understand about the cyber crimes. When any crime is committed over the internet, it is referred to as cybercrime. There are many types of cybercrime such as hacking, Gaining knowledge about someone's private and sensitive information by getting access to their computer system illegally is known as hacking. Number 2, theft. Theft occurs when a person downloads music, games, and software by violating copyright. Number 3, malicious software. These are internet-based software or programs known as pirated software that are used to disrupt proper functioning of the network. This software is used to steal sensitive information or data that can cause damage to existing software in a computer system. Number 4, electronic funds transfer fraud. A cybercrime occurs when there is a transfer of funds which may be intercepted and diverted. Valid credit card numbers can be hacked electronically and then misused by a fraudulent person or organization. I hope it's clear to all of you. So let's move on to our new topic, that is IPR issues. IPR stands for Intellectual Property Rights, which is the right to intangible property such as music, literature, and artistic work created by a person. Intellectual property is a legal term that refers to creations of the mind. Intellectual property rights may be protected by patents, copyrights, industrial design rights, trademarks, trade dress, and in some jurisdictions, trade secrets. IPR related issues in India like patents, trademarks, copyrights, designs, and geographical indications are governed by the Patents Act 1970 and Patent Rules 2003, Trademarks Act 1999 and the Trademarks Rules 2002, Indian Copyrights Act 1957, Design Act 2000 and Design Rules 2001, and the Geographical Indications of Goods Act 1999 and the Geographical Indications of Goods Rules 2002 respectively. I hope it's clear to all of you. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.